Hi yarn lovers, it's Gary and I'm once again back in my living room in Vancouver. I've been away for a couple of, maybe a week, and it just feels like forever since I did a video, so I might be a little rusty. So a little bit of housekeeping here. This is video 23 and it's January 3rd, 2020. So happy new year everyone. I wanted to just recap a little bit on saying thank you to all the subscribers that have joined me in 2019 and who are continuing to watch my videos. Thank you for your support and encouragement. It's very, very appreciated and makes me want to continue doing my Yarnie journey. So, and anyone else who is joining for the first time, welcome. My name is Gary, as I've mentioned, and this channel has been set up where I talk about my Yarnie experience. I am a relatively new knitter crocheter, and I just wanted to welcome everyone. So 2020, wow, here we are, a new year, new decade. I hope that everyone had a wonderful holiday and festive season, whichever religion or celebration that you have in your household and your family. And if you don't celebrate anything, I hope that you got away and you did something fun. In this household, we celebrate Christmas. So I want to talk a little bit about what I did over December, which kept me from crocheting and knitting for a little bit. But I did have a week on Vancouver Island where we celebrated New Year's Eve, New Year's Day, and then we came back to Vancouver, and I got some crochet knitting time in during the week that we spent over on Vancouver Island with my in-laws. So hubby and I went to his parents' place, and that was wonderful. I love them dearly. So leading up to Christmas, I had a couple of events that we went to. We went to the lighting of the St. Paul's, I believe it's called the Lights of Hope, and they had Christmas carols, and it started off the season very festive, so we really enjoyed that. We went to men's choir where we listened to a mashup of all different language Christmas carols and all different parts of the world. Their theme this year was to do with songs that had colors in them. So that was very, very of a fun night. It's a tradition that me and a couple of friends go to, and hubby. We head on down to a church that's local in our area here, and we listen to the men's choir. The men's choir is made up of like over 100, maybe 130 members, and that sing, and it was a superb night. Then we went to Van Duzel, I think it's called Van Duzen garden, where they, in Vancouver, it's a garden where they set up all these Christmas lights, and they're all in different formations. There's like a Ferris wheel, carousel, little ride there that you can take as well with your family. We have two little nieces, so they really enjoyed it. They have all throughout the gardens, they have music through speakers, and it's just a lovely warm way of seeing in the Christmas season. I myself had a frenzy of knitting and crocheting Christmas gifts. This year I tallied up 28 or 29 hats that I had showcased over the course of the other videos previously, and I had completed 2 infant hats, which I haven't showcased yet, but I will add to the clip here some of the hats that I presented as gifts in the Santa Still event on Christmas Day. So here they are here. So I don't have them anymore, but they were well received. So my family is very crochet and knit worthy, and I'm enthusiastic about doing Santa steel of some nature for next year as well. Maybe mittens, depending on how long it takes me to actually knit or crochet up mittens. I may incorporate maybe mittens as well as little mini scarves as well. So I'm very, very happy for that. I also sent a whole batch of hats from the 28 that I had made back home to Australia for my family in Australia. And I just want to, you know, take a moment to talk about the fires that are happening down in Victoria and also New South Wales. I believe I heard somewhere that that Australia, it's the biggest evacuation in Australia's history. So my thoughts and prayers and my concerns go out to all those people who have been displaced by the fires that are raging on down in Australia. And just to let everyone know that my family is very, very fortunate. They haven't been evacuated. They're out of harm's way. And actually my parents were on a cruise over Christmas, so they were celebrating Christmas away from the place that they live in. So I'm sure that they would have had concerns about looking and checking to see where the fires were going. So I am happy to say and report that they're well, and all of their belongings are okay as well. So all of those people who have been evacuated, my thoughts and prayers go out to you. And so I'm going to now showcase some of the things that I worked on in the week that I was away on Vancouver Island. What I had brought with me was like half of my suitcase was yarn, patterns, needles, hooks. It was amazing when I opened them up. Hubby's like, "Oh, where did you put your clothes?" And I'm like, "Oh, in this half here." So I unzipped the panel and could show him where all my clothes and supplies were for the week. But on the other side was equally or even more yarn and equipment so that I could dig into some projects. So I will show you the first one, which is a finished product or a finished item. So I was commissioned to make a slouchy hat for one of my hubby's work colleagues. He's a teacher, so he's off school now, but one of his work colleagues wanted to get a slouchy hat made. So this is the hat. It's 7.5 to 8 inches long, and I believe it's around 5.5 inches wide at the brim, but with the 2x2 ribbing, there is some stretch in that as well. I really, really like the pattern. I will put the description of where I got the pattern from here with a link as well. It was from a lady who, I've forgotten her name, but she has a YouTube channel where she runs through the tutorial of this hat. So I had lots of fun with that. And what I used, excuse me while I reach down here, was Scheepjies Velvet in the Bogart color way. And it's a 4-weight yarn that has like splotches of red. So it's kind of like a denim jeans wash effect. And the skein, a little bit about it, is it's 100 grams, which equals 300 meters. I don't know what that is in yards, maybe 300 and maybe 20 yards. They're suggesting a 4mm hook or needle, and it is 100% a premium acrylic. So this is how it worked up with the pattern. Very, very interesting texture. I like it. I like it a lot. So I hope she enjoys that. The next thing that I have to show you is this scarf. It's around I would say maybe 5.5 feet long, enough to probably wrap twice around your neck. And I'll just show you the color work in it. I used 3 different yarns to create this, and the ends are both the same kind of texture, and the middle is slightly different. It has a lovely weathered look in the middle, and what I felt when I put this on was it's quite a cool feeling around as it touches your skin. So it's not like one of the prickly, it's quite soft, but drapes lovely. So I'll just put it on for you so you can see. So you can wear it like that, or sometimes people like to wear it like with a wrap once around and then through the loop like that. If I can find the loop, there we go. And I really like the weathered look of how the 2 yarns, when I held them together, worked out. So what I used, I'll just show you. For the ends, I used the Landscapes from Line brand in the colorway Chartreuse. There's the colorway name. I think that's the right way up, yes. And it is a roving styled yarn, very loosely spun, and it does have a large kind of halo to it as well. It has that silky feel. It's not waxy, it's very brushed. So quite a nice brushed feel. You have to have a good sense of where this yarn is when you are knitting, because the needle, or if you're using it for crochet as well, could easily pierce the yarn, only because the way the nature of the yarn is. So that was the green on the ends, and what I did was I mixed loops and threads, serpentine, meandering serpentine yarn. And this one here is, I believe it's considered a 3 weight. No, it's considered a 4 medium, but it is on the lighter side of 4. And it has a little bit of sheen to it as well. And the color here is, I believe, mint. Yes, it's mint. And they suggest for this yarn to use a 5.5 millimeter crochet hook or a 4.5 millimeter set of knitting needles. So what I had done was I paired it with this one, and it gives that weathered look. And this one here is also a loops and thread, but unfortunately I've lost the label on this one. I believe it's called the Joy series or the Joy collection, and this one's a variegated from different types of green into turquoise and blue, and I held them together when I did this knitted scarf. It's just a basic 2x2 ribbing, but what I had done was I held the 2 loops and thread together as I went through this section, and every 9th or 10th row I actually dropped the Joy and I just knitted with the meandering serpentine, the mint color. So what I noticed when it was completed was that it had a lovely fold to it, like almost like a, I'm not too sure what it's called, but a concertina kind of fold. And it's lovely when you're kind of bunching it up as well. I guess it gives you a little bit of a different effect as it drapes. So, and I ran the colors just along the edges here in quite a neat way so that they're not puckering out and catching on anything. So they're snugly held and transferred along the edge here. I'll just let you see there how the mint goes along the sides, and then sometimes it's the joy variegated from the blues and the greens going along the side as well. So quite a snug fit there. So it's nicely done that they don't kind of pucker out and catch on anything. So that was a really fun project to do. The next, that finishes the works in progress, sorry, the finished works. And the works in progress I have going right now is, in the last video I showcased the scarf shawl that I was working on with the ice cake. So I had started and got to this red panel here, which is from Knit Picks Kettle Dye. It's the Hawthorn series. And then I continued on with the ice cake here. And then I threw in this Ancient Arts yarn. And I don't know what the colorway is called, but I've got the band, I'll show you in a moment. And then I went back to the ice cakes. And now what I'm doing is I'm decreasing from this side down to a point. And I believe after all said and done with the length of this, it will be close to over 6 feet long from tip to tip. And I'm making it I believe it's called a parallelogram. So I had increased from this point, so the angled side goes, increases down in this direction. And when I am on this side, I am going to be decreasing so that the angle goes in that direction. So anyway, I'll show you what I've got so far with how it looks. I haven't tied in my ends, so it's kind of like looking a little kind of messy, but it can be worn many ways. Like, it's going to come around and the red can go in the front or the back. So it's quite a lovely drapey and slightly heavy as well garment with a lovely drape to it. Yeah, so I'm really looking forward to finishing this one. It's a very slow growing project, as I am doing only single crochet and then a slip, a slip chain. I think they call it slip chain. So single crochet slip, and then the next row that goes that sits above it, the single crochet goes into the slip chain below. So yeah, really enjoying that. And the yarns that I'm using, as I mentioned before in my first video, is ice yarn. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to lie that flat on my coffee table, and I'll insert the look of it from above at the end of this video. So ice yarns, and that's the colorway that I'm using. And all the details are on the label that I'll put in at the end of the video as well. So you'll be able to see what the details are. And I believe the Ancient Arts, this is the colorway. It's luscious. And it variegates from like a pale yellow to more of a goldy yellow. And I can't find where the band is. Oh, here it is here. Does it have a colorway number? Nope, it doesn't have any color details. So I can't relay anything to that one, but it's kind of a yellow honey gold. So that's my shawl that I'm working on. I've been working on that for about 2 weeks on and off, just watching television with it and stuff. So I'm really enjoying that. The next one that I have to show you is a new pattern that I just started recently. and it's from Drops. It's a free pattern, and it's this scarf here that this gentleman is wearing. And I believe it's called Suad by Drops Design. I don't know who the pattern is credited to, but I'll link the pattern to the description box below. And I'm doing it a little differently, as always, purely because I'm using the yarn that I have. And this is it here, it's on the needle still. And it's a real big tangle of mess right now. But I believe it's gonna measure, once it's all stretched out off of the needles, it's probably gonna measure 5.5 feet. And I'm working it so that the lengthwise, and when it's done, it will go around my neck, like lengthwise, so that the stripe will go long ways. And I'm using in this, I'm also doing something similar to the first scarf that I showed you with the greens and the mint color. I am using 3 yarns, and I'm carrying 2 across, dropping 1, picking up another, going back to the other side, and then back again. So I'm kind of like changing the yarns as I go up and down. But I'm using Scarfy. Sorry, this is Shawl in the Ball. Shawl in the Ball by Lion Brand in the colorway Feng Shui. And they're saying that this one is a 4, but it's really a 3 with a halo that sort of like maybe pushes it into the 4. And it's acrylic. And I'm using Lion Brand's colors in the colorway Coffee and Cream. So lots of grays, blacks, charcoals, and I'm also pairing in Pound of Love with the colorway Charcoal. So, and it's to the pattern that I showed you from Drops, and I'll link that below. This one that I worked on, I didn't work to a pattern. I just sort of played around with the yarn. So this was just me playing around. And also the shawl scarf, I don't have a pattern. I just did that stitch work and the increase decreasing. When I felt it was needed, I stopped it. And when I began it, it was like, to complete it, I've started to complete the decreasing. So that was all of my own kind of decision making, I guess. And that concludes all of the finished works and my works in progress. And I believe that's about it. So I wish everyone very, very good 2020, and I will be back to showcase some yarn hauls that were delivered to me while I was away. I have 2 of them, and to also talk about a Michael's trip that I did just before I went away. So stay tuned for those videos that are coming out throughout the week. I look forward to seeing you next time, and I would ask anyone who is watching and loving the channel that they think about subscribing. It encourages me to keep going, and give me a thumbs up, share and like this video, and yeah, I will see you in the next video. Bye for now.